And again, really the purpose for this today was to make sure that our elected officials have the other side of the coin. We realized that we're coming at this from a very clear perspective. We think that this is a bad idea. It does not put America on a path to energy independence. And it puts too much risk on Nebraska for oil that may not even be being used for the United States. So we just hope that this is one other side of the coin that they can have in order to make common sense legislation in our state and hopefully pass some pipeline routing laws so we can get this potentially out of the sandhills. So Ken, I'll give it to you to close.
Thanks, Jane. Well, now I've got an hour and a half worth of things to talk to you about, but no, seriously, I know that I probably have about 30 seconds worth of your attention, so I'll try and talk fairly quickly. I guess the first thing I wanted to say was just to echo what this gentleman just said. This morning's Journal Star, the headline article, I see that Art took off, but he wrote the article. And the headline article, the headline was Sandhills an Oasis Among Cattle States. And basically the message was that we've got water, and then it showed a map, and there was all this red down in the southern part of the United States, places that are stressed by drought. And so if we have this resource, if we have this jewel, as Senator Har called it, then let's not destroy this jewel, let's protect it. There's another article also on the front page of the Journal Star today, and I know that Paul's here. I should say something good about the World Herald while I'm at it, but anyway, the two things that caught my eye this morning were these two articles. It was about the Water for Food Institute, which is right here in Lincoln. And one of the goals of that entity is to try to figure out how we can better use water to feed people throughout the world. And the population is expected to double. The population of the world is expected to double by 2050. And Nebraska is going to be in the middle of that. And water is going to be a very important part of that. So we need to protect those resources. And I guess there's a couple things that I wanted to mention that weren't mentioned so far. One is the fact that local and state officials have all the authority related to groundwater in the state of Nebraska. This is not a federal responsibility. Our DEQ is the main entity that has that responsibility related to protecting our groundwater. Also, our natural resources districts on the local level have authority over protecting groundwater. The federal government has no authority in that area. So these are areas where state and local governments have authority and need to exercise their jurisdiction. Then I guess I wanted to say that local and state officials, in addition to that, they can do a better job of protecting natural resources than the federal government. Now I'm quoting Senator Johans here, but it's just a matter of common sense. I mean, I think I was on the Lincoln School Board for several years, and I know Jane's on the Hastings School Board. And by golly, I can tell you that I had a better idea of what we needed to do to educate the kids in Lincoln than folks in Washington, D.C. did. I mean, it just makes more sense. I mean, I know what's happening in my community. I know how to deal with those kinds of things. So I think that local officials can do a better job in that area as well. I guess one of the other points that I wanted to make is that even if you think pipelines are great and you want one running right through your backyard, and I don't know anybody who thinks that's, who really wants one running through their backyard, but even if you think that, doesn't it make sense that there ought to be some kind of standards for pipelines? Right now, Nebraska has no standards. Now, I think I'm a pretty good driver, but I don't think anybody's going to say, okay, you don't need a driver's license, you don't have to have insurance. I think we ought to have some kind of standards for pipelines in the state of Nebraska, and would encourage local officials. So why not pass local zoning ordinances? Why not pass state routing laws? Well, it's a matter of will, first of all. And I guess one of the things that I'm finding out, the more that I work on this, the more people that I talk to, the more people will say, that's a crazy idea. Why would you want to put a pipeline right through the aquifer, right through the sandhills? Who thinks this is a good idea? Well, other than TransCanada folks. So far, I haven't met anybody who thinks it's a good idea. And so, if that's the case, and we're this government by the people, for the people, I read that on somewhere. Abraham Lincoln, I think, said it. But the more that people find out, the more they say, let's do something here. And so So we need to build the will of our elected officials to do something. And then in terms of it also being a matter of information, and one of the things that this is intended to do today is to provide information to people and to let them know that there are resources available. Well, I guess I'm willing to volunteer whatever knowledge and expertise that I might have. I spent 17 years working at the legislature. I can draft a bill or an ordinance, I think, and so I'd be glad to work in that area, or if there's research help that I can provide, I'd be glad to do that. And Anthony, I'm going to volunteer his research skills because he told me that he was willing to work on this. So those are the things that I think need to happen. And so I know that there's a number of us that are here that want to make something happen, and we want to work on this, and we want to establish some standards for pipelines in the state of Nebraska. And one of the things that was pointed out today, this gentleman asked a number of questions, is the fact that there's a lot of questions that are unanswered. What will happen? Who will be liable? Who will have to pay for it? Well, I'm guessing that probably it's going to be us and our descendants who have to pay for it. That by the time these things come to fruition, the folks that are guaranteeing things now and telling us not to worry, that they're going to be long gone and we'll have run away with their profits, and we'll be the folks, and our children will be the folks who will be left holding the bag. So anyway, appreciate having all you folks come out today, and appreciating from hearing from all the folks. It was good to hear about directly about what happened in North Dakota, as opposed to just reading about it in the paper. So thanks for everybody for coming out.